Hey guys, AC here. Once again, welcome to another review. Today it's basically a comparison video between Dior Sauvage and Armaf Ventana. This is basically a request from one of my subscribers, Rohit. Well, hope you're watching this and hope you like it. Rohit, by the way, is a final year medical student from India who's studying master surgery. All the best to you, Rohit. I believe you're having your exams now. Do well. So, Dior Sauvage came out in 2015, one of the most popular fragrances. Happens to be one of those fragrances that I like but I don't love. I've got a small decant and I wear it whenever I fancy it. I've got a few of these blue scents. I've got a full bottle of Bleu de Chanel, which I quite enjoy. Also have a small decant of Versace. So I in fact did a comparison video as well. And I got myself Ventana. Ventana came out 2016 November, about a year after Sauvage did. So, comparison. Now what I've done actually is these two fragrances start off differently, but they tend to get closer and closer as time passes. So I've got 1.5 hour dry down of Sauvage on my left, 1.5 hour dry down of Ventana on my right. All I'm going to do is answer 3 questions, maybe 4. Question number 1, how do the compositions compare? What is the lightness, what is the similarity and kind of stuff, that kind of stuff. Number 2 question, what is the experience? How is the experience of wearing these two fragrances compare, complement, feel, that kind of stuff. So, and the third one would be around performance and price and all that stuff. Okay, so let's get started, guys. The two fragrances have some differences in their notes breakdown. For example, Sauvage has a lot of pepper. It has got black pepper, Sichuan pepper and pink pepper. Black pepper is in the top note with bergamot. The middle notes have Sichuan pepper, pink pepper, lavender, geranium, vetiver, host of notes in Sauvage. This one here, Ventana, doesn't have such a small top note. It has actually quite a few notes in the top. It has mandarin, it has lemon, it has bergamot, and it has grapefruit, which is different to what Sauvage has. The middle of the fragrance has lavender, which is common. It doesn't have the pink pepper and the Sichuan pepper, but it does have black pepper. Or maybe the other way around. It probably has pink pepper and no black pepper and Sichuan pepper. It also has geranium, which is common note. So there's some commonality in the actual structure of the fragrance. The base of the fragrance is where the big difference lies, and that's what makes the two fragrances slightly different at the end journey. So the big difference is, so the base of the fragrance common elements are labdanum. As you know, labdanum gives that warmth, sweet, balsamic type scent in both the fragrances. Both fragrances have ambroxan, both fragrances have cedar, both fragrances have vetiver, but the difference is Ventana uses sandalwood as a fixative. There is no sandalwood here. So that's a big difference, and it makes a huge amount of difference in the later part of the journey, which we'll come to in a minute. So when you open, the opening is instantly where you see the difference. The Dior Sauvage smells much more peppier, much more thinner, much more airy, and much more, it projects a lot more. This smells, Ventana in its opening smells really zesty and fleshy and fruity, and it doesn't project as much as Sauvage does. That's the huge difference in the opening of the fragrances. Dior Sauvage also smells a lot more stylish, a lot more nicer, a lot more classier in the beginning, right? But Ventana really catches up. So 1.5 hours. Really sharp, peppery, minty Ventana. Smells, there's a slight element of oddness. There's this odd smell which is there, which is slightly fruity and fleshy. That's the only odd. It's not odd in a bad way. It just doesn't feel as if it's a Sauvage clone. Now the dry down, the late dry down. This is about 7.5 hours. Now this is where Dior Sauvage really disappoints me. Reason being, it's so thin and so frail. All you can smell is slight bit of woody smell, some woody smell with a lot of alcoholic smell. It's really very pale, very thin. And this is where Ventana smile, sort of shines. You can smell absolutely every component in the base. So base has, as I said, vetiver, cedar, sandalwood, and ambroxan. You can smell it, and it smells a little bit more like Sauvage smells after about 4 hours. See what I mean? So the fragrances start differently. In the middle, about 1.5 hours, they smell a little different. This smells a little bit odd. It's got that real odd note in the middle, but late dry down, 6-7 hours later, this reminds you of how Sauvage smells after about 3 or 4 hours on your skin. Very stylish, sort of effervescent, silvery, and it just goes out and hits people and grabs their attention. That's the difference in the smell. So, composition I've covered. Let's get to the experience. So Sauvage has this quality, it has ambroxan, and it plays on ambroxan and pepper, and it has this quality of grabbing the attention of the ladies. Ladies love the smell of ambroxan. There are a lot of fragrances which actually exploit ambroxan. Ambroxan is wonderful to the ladies, and it's a fantastic communication opener. That experience, I've not tested it that way, but I don't think Ventana will be able to replicate that experience. Sauvage is sharp, mean, cold, and very confident smell. Ventana is a sharp, woody, warm, and confident smell. Yeah, you see what I mean? It's a woody, warm smell as compared to Sauvage. Sauvage is very cold, steely, metallic. That metallicness is not there in Ventana. Ventana is fruity, woody, warm because of sandalwood. So depends on your personal taste. If you really like this steely, cold smell of Sauvage, you should stick with Sauvage. If you really don't like the screechiness, it's very screechy, of Sauvage, you could possibly try sampling this one, because this is slightly more nicer, warmer guy, if you like. It's not as cold and sharp and mean as Sauvage. You see what I mean? So the experience, depending on what your priorities are, if you're looking for a conversation opener, both will do the job. Sauvage more than Ventana, I think. I'm just guessing here. Now, price points. Now, obviously, Armaf wins here. I got the Ventana. This is a 100 ml bottle. It's an EDP. Its longevity is probably at par with Sauvage. If in some days it gives me about 10 hours, which Sauvage struggles with. So if you look at the value for money, no comparison. Armaf wins hands down. In terms of performance, so Sauvage has tremendous projection, tremendous sillage. This one, Ventana, doesn't have the same kind of projection. It sits closer. So if Sauvage is 2 feet of projection, this is probably 1 feet, 1.5 feet max. So that's the difference in terms of performance. Longevity is where Ventana wins. As I said, I can clearly smell. This is how Sauvage smells after it's dried down properly. Really faint, as I said, woody alcoholic smell is what I'm getting after 7.5 hours. Could be my skin, it could perform better on your skin, but that's what I'm getting. In terms of sillage, again, Sauvage has a deeper sillage, bigger sillage, very big scent bubble. Ventana doesn't have that huge nuclear scent bubble, but it's not far behind. Yeah? Say 20% less. So, performance, price, I think is a touch and go. All in all, I'd say Ventana gives you about 70 to 80% of the experience, but in its end journey, it smells much nicer. It's a much nicer interpretation of Dior Sauvage because of the 2 important notes that make it smell much nicer. Sandalwood being one, and the way they've used ambroxan. It smells really nice in its late dry down. Hope this helps, guys. Take care. Bye-bye.